Hello, welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage. On a Thursday afternoon, I had to stop and think about it. We had a little skiff of snow. It's all melted now. Maybe I'd call it a trace. It's cold. It's been cold all week, but that's okay. I'll take it without the accumulating snow. Been lucky so far this January. This may look like the movie Groundhog. I know you've seen all this before. Most of it anyway, but trying to accomplish a couple things today. One, I come out late last night, taped off the front of the engine, removed all the pulleys and stuff first, obviously. Painted the front of the engine black because the bolts were rusting around the timing cover and the harmonic balancer was never painted. So then I cleaned all the brackets, put it back on, including my new alternator, new to me, Amazon reject, but DB Electrical. Somebody in the comments told me that they're a company out of the South somewhere, so that's cool. Interesting bracket setup with the rod ends left and right for adjustment. Actually worked pretty good. My 70 Chevy SS396 fan belt worked just fine, or 454. But over here, I'm going to show you the gaskets in question, but I had the original blue set of Felpro gaskets that I bought 15 or 16 years ago. They leaked on me then, just on the test stand. Doing exactly what I'm doing now. They dripped out of the lower bolt holes. So I bought a set of, actually I had a set left over from my original 70 Chevy. I've had them around that long. They're cork Felpro with a layer of something in between. It's not metal, it's plastic or rubber or something, but they're pretty stiff and they're about a 1/4 inch thick. And I use that set of gaskets on everything. I'd sell an engine and keep the valve cover gaskets, the same set. Finally, when the blue ones leaked on the 572 that I built, I took those off and I put those same gaskets on different valve covers. I probably had 5-10 sets of valve covers on those same gaskets. They never leaked a drop, and of course, solid roller cam, I'd have the valve covers off pretty regular. Just checking stuff, adjusting and whatnot. So when I sold the 572, the gaskets left with it. I kept those blue gaskets in my trailer if I ever needed them. I figured on this project, let's put them on, right? They're a beautiful gasket. They leaked. I got a black set of black ones just like it. Again, we'll go look at them. And they leaked. This thing has been sitting here. I roll it over one side, run the oiler. This valve cover is flooded with oil. And now with the new gasket, it's not leaking a drop. So this side's all clean. Now I'm going to flip it back. I'll flood this side and just let it sit and find out. It's not common to have a valve cover leak, especially on a big block. You got 7 bolts. And I used to run, cheap chrome tin covers, the factory ones, with just the little brackets to hold them. Never an issue. I mean, this style Felpro gasket, the oil's running right out on the ground. So let's go look at the gaskets, and maybe it'll make more sense instead of me rambling. All right, this is a composition of both the blue and the black set. They got ribs on them. They're rubber. They got a steel core. They got little sleeves you can't over tighten. While the hole is slightly larger than 1/4 inch, somehow oil's getting under them, which there is no rib. It's actually kind of a smooth shot. So I don't know. There's something that shouldn't be going on with these, because these things should be lifetime, which is why I bought them originally. Just like a 4L80E pan gasket, you can reuse it over and over and over and it never leaks, or seldom leaks. These things, I don't know. If you got any experience with them, and I'll get you the part number here in a minute. This is a replacement. It's a 1630 Felpro once again. Again, double cork, extra thick, with a layer of something in between. They're relatively stiff for a cork gasket. Let me go get the part number for this. I don't want to be lacking information. And we're back. The black set. This is the original package for the black set. Been around a while. I once tried to sell them at a swap meet for $7.50. Probably a $50 gasket. And nobody bought them. The part number is VS 30055C. That's the black set. Blue set, I don't know. They're identical, just obviously a different color. In my box of treasures, look at this. I think I bought this at like Mars, or it was some kind of, well, what would you call it nowadays? It's not a superstore like a Walmart, but it was a department store. CP Auto. Man, these things are old. I once tried to sell these for $10 and nobody bought them. So now they just live here forevermore. But I guess if this solves my problem, it'll prove out the fact it's not the covers, because this set had multiple covers on it, still leaked. I don't know. So I am now in possession of 2 black and 2 shiny 4500 Terminator Stealth throttle bodies. This is sitting on the Holley Sniper intake, which I like it for some reasons and dislike it for others. It's pretty short. The plenum, something tells me it would be perfect for a high RPM engine. It kind of copies, you know, the early Pro Stock manifolds, which I'm sure that, I mean, they took somebody's manifold and copied it, they being, you know, whoever, Holley in this case, but I think they're selling somebody else's manifold. Quality-wise, my only question was the thickness of the intake manifold gaskets, which we just so happen we're going to be talking about, but it's that time of day. My school bus alarm went off, alerts me that the bus is going to be here in a few minutes. So I've spaced it up with these Moroso laminated spaces, a couple gaskets, but still the bell crank for the sideways mounted throttle bodies or carburetors, it's going to be a tight fit. I probably got to move it out a little bit, obviously on the other side, driver's side, but not that it can't be done, it's just a little more difficult. The more room you have this way, the easier it is. So let's talk about intake manifold gaskets for aftermarket cylinder heads. The 1275, when you go, doesn't matter, small block, big block, whatever engine you have, once you go beyond stock, they start selling you gaskets by height and width. And if you notice on these, the middle bolt is gone. This manifold still has it. A lot of manifolds don't, because the port gets so big, there's no room for that upper bolt, because a stock big block Chevy has 3 bolts in both positions around the Siamese runners. When you eliminate the upper bolt, it makes it more like a small block. So the 1275 is 60 thousandths thick. It does not have the Printo seal, it's just the gray material. Pretty decent gasket, but I prefer the Printo seal, which is a 1275 S3, same gasket, but now you got this blue stuff. It's still gray on the back side. I like to put just a little clear seal around both water ports and a little dab right in the middle where the heat crossover used to be. If these were stock heads, you couldn't do this, but in this case, in a big block Chevy, it's just a big blank of aluminum. Just a daub. You know how I hate RTV, but sometimes you got to use it. But it holds the gasket in place. I glue it right to the cylinder head. Then in a perfect world, if you're careful, you could probably remove the manifold more than once and the gasket's going to stay there. I don't put anything on this side because I have this Printo seal, they call it, the blue stuff. So this is the same as the 1275, but you have the Printo seal, both 60 thousandths thick. This manifold, the way it sits on the block compared to like this tunnel rim, made me think that I probably ought to try a thicker gasket. When you go to the thicker gasket, these are 120, it's again a 1275. Velcro, this is a -5. And it's 120 thousandths thick, and there's no Printo seal, so in this case I would probably put a little bit of liquid or clear RTV around, just a little bit, doesn't take much, just around the water ports. I don't do the intake. If it was boosted maybe, I don't know, but it's not. So and probably these are one-time use. They probably should be anyway, but sometimes if you're trying to change a lifter or something, you might not have all the pieces you need, make another round. Whatever reason you should stop and you don't, you might get away with it one time. So if I am to use this manifold, I'll probably at least try it on with these gaskets. Looking ahead to the future, the original tunnel ram, which is this one, came with the 496. with these carburetors on it. I've now put this back pretty much the way it was, with the exception of I was playing with different air cleaners because, well, it was fun. I put the 750s, again with another set of these air cleaners. The studs aren't finalized, but back on the small block, the brand new small block, tunnel ram manifold, that's gonna go on the 421 for sure. Now it's back the way it was. I stole the 750s to put over here, which would be a good combo. This would be a good combo. This thing ran perfect. Why I'm changing it? Because I drove this in November and it runs just fine. It runs really strong. You know, whatever. So now I got both of the silver 4500 throttle bodies. I think the EFI is going to be fun and challenging, so that's why it's worth the effort. And obviously it's impressive looking. This is the look I thought of. I guess I like it when you have two matching throttle bodies. I had a silver and a black, and then it was making my eye wonder which one I like better. So, but all put together like that, I think it's pretty sexy. You do lose a stock big block intake manifold. Has a crossover from the water pump, a bypass. So there's a port there. At least they did give you two water ports on either side, because you're going to need something for a coolant temp sensor. The cylinder heads are not tapped at all. The AFR heads, some aftermarket heads are, some aren't. So to run a gauge or a coolant temp sensor, I'm down to two ports, and I guess there's two ports on the water pump, but I prefer to do it off the intake manifold. My goal today was to at least, I wouldn't say finish, but at least near completion of the SFI Power Glide and build it for myself, which would be an awesome choice for the 47 Ford pickup. Small, compact, would be very fast and quick. Will that be the transmission choice? I haven't decided yet. But I have another Power Glide for somebody else. I need to give it some attention, so I wanted to get my parts out of the way. And then I got a big shipment from UPS last night and went picking through it this morning, and had some parts for the 377, etc. Next thing you know, I'm looking at the end of my day here and didn't accomplish what I'd hoped. I guess that's it. Enjoy your evening, and I'll be back at you in a day or so. Take her easy. Have some fun.